What's going on, Tricology family? Welcome back to another episode of the Tricology News Talk. We got a major topic to talk about, and we got some mainstream news to talk about. So let's get ahead on into our mainstream news before we get into our main topic for today. So our first piece of news is Netflix boss says too much quantity will hurt quality. He's wrong. Wait a minute. Exactly, like that don't make no sense. The people should know it's quality over quantity. Like, what's wrong with y'all? But here's what Ted Satcher had to say. I don't agree with the premise of quantity and quality are the somehow in conflict with each other. We have had 8 Best Picture nominees in the last 5 years on Netflix. Our movie programming has been great because it's not just all for you and is not meant to be all for you. So I don't know, man, but sometimes we always say, like, sometimes you have good stuff and sometimes you have bad stuff. It is what it is. So all we can ask for is for good or quality movies. So sometimes we get it, sometimes we don't. What can we do? Moving on. DC's Green Lantern series as Ogzwa, True Detective, and Watchmen writers. And this is coming from James Gunn when he tweeted this saying, "Yes, it's true. The Lanterns DCU series is putting together a crack team of writers based on the wonderful plot script and Bible by Chris Muddy, Tom King, and Damien Leffer. A heart welcome to Chris and Damien Leffer as they join the DC Studios family. No welcome necessary to the old Tom King, who has been here nearly since inception." So yeah, so I'm looking forward to see how the Green Lantern series goes because they originally had planned that for the old DCU, but that got scrapped. So James Gunn is finally bringing it back, and we'll see how that's gonna go. Moving on, Giancarlo Esposito says the MCU role will have his own series. So we earlier it was brought to my attention that he will be the villain in Captain America a Brave New World. But let's read what he was talking about before that. The MCU has knocked on my door, and it's a role that you won't predict. It will be teased, and there will be a series afterwards. So I guess they're teasing his character in Brave New World, and then that's when the series is going to come. So let's see what his character is going to be. Furiosa take top spot in the worst Memorial Day weekend box office in 30 years. So let's look at the numbers here. So at number 1, you got Furiosa sitting at 25 million. Then in second place, you got the Garfield movie sitting at 24 million, and then so forth. If is at number 3 right now. Kingdom of the Planet of Apes is at 4. The Fall Guy is at 5. The Strangers Chapter 1 at 6, and then Sight at 7. So that was the box office for Memorial Day of the weekend as follows. But moving on, Knives Out 3, aka known as Wake Up Dead Man, as some first cast members. So the first 2 cast members that they added was Kathleen Spency. Sorry I pronounced the name, but she was in Civil War, Priscilla, Marriage of Easttown, Devs, Vice, and the upcoming Alien Romulus. And then we also had Josh O'Connor, who was recently in Challengers, The Crown, and Liz Marini. And then later on, we will get the news that Jamie Ritter has been added, Glenn Close has been added, Kerry Washington has been added, and also Mila Kunis has been added to the cast. So, along with Daniel Craig returning as well. So we got a great cast so far. So let's see if they're gonna add more new cast members. So they're Knives Out 3 looking good so far. Montreal season 2 will be bigger, more monsters, and Kong. And this is coming from Chris Platt, the co-creator of Montreal, saying, "I think where we left the season gave us so much fortitude, territory for storytelling. We want to continue to tell this human story. We want to continue to tell the story of the Remy family and Kate and Contour and their father Hoshiri, and now their grandmama Kashi. But there's also is a hunger for more spectacle and for more monsters. How do we make it bigger and better? We revealed Kong at the end of the first season, so there is going to be expectation that you are going to see more of Kong that we want to deliver on. So, that is going to be very interesting now that Kong has showed up at the end of season 1. So that's going to be very interesting. Furiosa. 3 main reasons why it struggled on opening weekend. Number 1, a prequel to a 9-year-old movie. Number 2, Furiosa made less than Black Adam. Number 3, this isn't a 4-day quadrant movie. Well, I can also add on to it is that it's most people to a certain character that really didn't have like very interest in. Like some people say, oh, there's no Mad Max in there, so why should we care for Furiosa? Why should we care for a character that we had no interest in? So all I can say is, hopefully we get an actual sequel to Fury Road. So that's all much I can say. Moving on. He-Man, Masters of the Universe live action movie has casted its lead role. And this is coming from the Hollywood Reporter saying, Masters of the Universe has found its He-Man, Nicholas Gontazine, who recently started in Amazon's MGM romantic comedy The Idea of You, has been cast in the studio's live-action Masters movie, which had Travis Knight set to direct. Knight will direct from a screenplay by Chris Butler. Mattel Films' Robbie Burton and escape artist Todd Black. Jason Blumedy and Steve Tasho are also producing. So, when I looked at this, I was like, I don't know. He doesn't look like He-Man, but I won't judge yet. I'll say this: if he starts working at the gym and you give him that blonde hair, we'll see how that goes. And then lastly for today, 3 factors on why it's killing the movie industry. So, number 1, tickets and concession prices. Well, that is true because I remember in 2019 we had a lower price, but then soon after the pandemic, it started to go up. Like it was crazy, and then factor number 2, the strike, of course. Yeah, the strike was crazy, man. So that's why you got AI coming. Writers was like it was crazy, and then number 3, exporting theatrical windows. So this was the problem. Like back in the pandemics, like you had movies that was there, and then soonly after 2 weeks, like it was on VOD and digital, and then of course also you had other movies that go straight to streaming. But I got to tell you, we are not in the pandemic no more. You don't have to release movies out so quick. That's why many people are not going to the theaters because they think it's that well after 2 weeks it's gonna be on digital and POD. Like that makes no sense. Like we're not in the pandemic no more. We're back. Well, sort of back to normal, but we're in the new normal now. But still, like that's what's hurting your. That's one of the main factors that's hurting your movies. Like that don't make no sense. But hey, what can I say, man? So they got to do something to in order to save their theaters. But I'm not gonna go too far. I'm not gonna get upset about it. But they know what they need to do. But that's all the mainstream news that we have for you. So let's get into our main topic. So the 2024 NBA Finals are set, ladies and gentlemen. Our new Eastern Conference Finals champions are the Boston Celtics, and our new Western Conference champions are the Dallas Mavericks. The series is scheduled to begin on June 6th, with a possible Game 7 scheduled for June 23rd. This will be the third NBA final matchup between the teams from Massachusetts and Texas after the Boston Celtics and the Houston Rockets met in both 1981 and 1986 NBA Finals. Now, for the Boston Celtics, they had to run through the Heat, sadly, the Cleveland Cavaliers, and the Indiana Pacers to make it to the NBA Finals for the second time in 3 years, and this will be their 23rd time in the finals in their long franchise history. The Dallas Mavericks has to rush through the Los Angeles Clippers, Oklahoma City Thunder, and the Minnesota Timberwolves to make it back to the NBA Finals, which is their first NBA Finals since their last appearance in 2011, which they beat us sadly again, where they won their first and only title there. So I recently did a poll on Instagram, and most of my people said they was going for the Mavericks to win the NBA Finals. So we'll see how that goes. I'm also pulling for the Mavericks too, but we'll see how that goes. But and then lastly, before we wrap up, the Florida Panthers are back in the Stanley Cup, y'all. So next week we just have to wait and see who our opponents is going to be, and we'll talk about it about who's in the Stanley Cup for finals next week. But all I can say is we're back in the finals, baby. We're going back to the ship. So hopefully we win our first Stanley Cup titles. Hopefully. But yeah, that's all I have for you guys today. If you're listening to me on YouTube and also YouTube Music, don't forget to follow there. And also, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and hit that notification bell where new episodes are uploaded. And of course, if you're listening to me on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, don't forget to follow me there as well. And with that being said, this is Trico, and I'm signing off, y'all. Peace.